Have you ever stopped, just for a moment, to think about time? How every second that passes never comes back again. This is the story of Amal, a young boy who learned that time is not just something we have. It is something we must treasure. Amal lived in a small, peaceful village. The days were warm, the streets quiet, and life moved slowly. He was a happy boy, full of dreams, but he never cared much about time. When his mother asked him to finish his chores, he said, later. When his friends reminded him about schoolwork, he said, tomorrow. And slowly, later became never. He spent his days playing, laughing, dreaming, while important moments slipped quietly away. One morning, his father called out, Amal, come help me at the market. But Amal lay under a tree, watching the clouds drift by. I'll come later, father, he said softly. There's plenty of time. His father smiled gently. All right, my son. But remember, time waits for no one. Hours passed. By the time Amal reached the market, it was too late. The stalls were empty. The work was done. He felt a small pain in his chest, the pain of a missed moment. That night, his father handed him an old pocket watch. This belonged to your grandfather, he said quietly. It stopped ticking the day he passed away. I kept it to remind me that every second is a gift. Amal turned the watch over in his hands. But it doesn't work, he whispered. His father smiled. Neither does life, when we waste our time. Those words stayed with Amal long after the night grew silent. For the first time, he began to understand. The next morning, the sky was still dark when Amal opened his eyes. He sat up slowly, feeling something new inside him, a quiet promise. He dressed quickly, and before the sun had fully risen, he was ready to help his father. As they worked side by side, Amal watched the world awaken. The air was cool. The sound of people filled the streets. And for the first time, he noticed how every moment had its own beauty. The laughter of the crowd, the smell of fresh bread, the glow of morning light. He realized this was life, and life was made of time. From that day on, Amal changed. When work needed to be done, he didn't wait. When someone needed help, he gave his time. When he wanted to rest, he rested, but never wasted his days. Little by little, everything began to shift. He felt proud. He felt alive. People in the village started to notice. Amal, they said, you've grown so wise for your age. He would simply smile and say, I learned to use my time well. Years passed. Amal became a man known for his kindness and hard work. One afternoon, a small boy ran up to him and asked, how do you do so many things in one day? Amal smiled, pulling the old pocket watch from his pocket. I used to waste time, he said softly. But then I learned, every second is like a drop of water. If you waste it, it's gone forever. But if you use it well, it can grow into a river of dreams. That evening, Amal stood outside his home as the sun slowly sank below the horizon. He looked at the old watch, still silent, still frozen in time, and he whispered, thank you for teaching me the value of every moment. He smiled, peaceful and content, because he knew now time is not just what we spend, it's what we live. And when you value your time, you value your life.